Gable's in the first break.
Monday, and we are back, baby. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday morning. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. How do you do, upstate South Carolina? Hello, America. What up, world? How's everybody? Y'all good? Good weekend? Nice, relaxing weekend. Everybody enjoy yourselves, chilling out. Maxing, relaxing, all cool, playing some b-ball outside of the school. Hope you're good, man. I'm Rob Brown. Pleasure is exclusively mine. On the other side of the glass today, metaphorically speaking, of course, because there's none literally there. He is the Alpha and the Omega of the Fan Upstate, the conductor of the Symphony of Sound. That is the Rob Brown Show, Colonel Grudge, hashtag Dad Kicks, the content cash cow, the Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, the great one. Lonzo is here as well. What up, Zoe?
You know, technically I am on the other side of the glass because you're wearing glasses.
You're not wrong.
So
You're not wrong.
You know, so you were right. You've been right all along, Rob Brown. Way to go.
And there is Lonzo. He who forfeited arguments of semantics last week, hot out the gate with one. I like it. There's no denying who you are, Alonzo. You just have to embrace your destiny.
Know thine own self.
And to thine own self be true. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad to have you here. Again, hope you had a lovely weekend. Glad to have you back in the fold once again. Hey, do us a favor. If you're not already, follow us across all the social medias. And on top of that, make sure that you are watching the live stream. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate. You can also go to YouTube and search The Fan Upstate. Find us, watch the stream live, because not only, ladies and gentlemen, do you get the ever so incredible opportunity to look directly into the face of the great one and, of course, his baby blue eyes. But today, a little something special. We have here on the show dedicated ourselves to being as involved with the local sports scene as we possibly can. And we're going to do that again today, great one, because coming up at 11 a.m., we are going to be joined by the head coach of the Greenville Liberty, the USLW League team, the women's professional team right here in the Ville. We are going to be joined by head coach Julie Carlson. But Julie's not just coming to hang out and talk soccer. She's going to, but that's not all. On top of coming to hang out and talk a little footy with us, Zoe, she is going to, right here and only on this show, reveal the 2023 Greenville Liberty uniform. Now, for those of you that aren't football fans, soccer fans, kit reveals are like a major part of the season, right? Like kit reveal day is a big day. That's the day the fans see for the first time what the unis that the ladies are going to be rocking and we are going to be purchasing look like. And every year you're going to get a new, for the most part, you're going to get a new kit. It's going to be a new look. And so the revelation of that uni is a big, big highlight across the soccer calendar. And today is that day for the Greenville Liberty. So and they are going to do it right here and live on this radio broadcast, which means if you would like to be one of the first to see the 2023 Liberty Kit, you got to go watch the stream. Start it now and be here at 11 when we drop the threads on you fools.
That's extremely cool. And that means, you said exclusive. That means the other show is not doing that, doing it right here on the Rob Brown Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, right here and only on the Rob Brown Show will you get the very first look at the 2023 Greenville Liberty Kit. I threw on last year's kit today to celebrate, but the new kits will be here today, and you will get your first look at them. So again, make sure that you are hanging on the live stream. You can find it at facebook.com/thefanupstate or by searching and subscribing to the Fan Upstate on YouTube as well. We got a lot of sports to get to. We got a lot of stuff to talk about on the radio broadcast today, and I hope that you will elect to be a part of it. How do I get in touch with the show, Rob? I'm ever so glad you asked, metaphorical listener that I made up for this situation. The first way to do it is to get on that there phone line, the Gilstrap Family Dealerships.com. Phone line is open for you right now at 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. The other way to get in touch with the radio broadcast today is on the text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the radio broadcast. 71307. Send a text. Start that text with the word FAN, F-A-N. We will read them on the air. You can also do a Twitter if you want to. If you would like to do a Twitter to the show, the Twitter handle is at The Rob Brown Show. At The Rob Brown Show, because I am as creative with my internet handles as I am the name of the radio show. And, of course, Lonzo is on the Twitter device as well. You can shoot him some words at Lonzo Onward, at Lonzo Onward. And, of course, you can tweet everybody up in here at The Fan Upstate, at The Fan Upstate. If you want to tweet me, Zoe, Diesel, Mark, and all the good people behind the scenes here at The Fan Upstate. So that's all the different ways to get in touch with the radio broadcast today. We want you, we encourage you, nay, we demand that you be a part of the radio broadcast today and every day. Let us, ladies and gentlemen, get into some sports. Coming up on the show today, Shane Beamer was in the news this weekend. Shano said that there was a relatively highly touted recruit that was considering playing his football in Columbia, South Carolina this upcoming season, and Shano told him no. Said, no, we're good. Said he's going to go play for another SEC school. And while he did not name the player or the school that the player would be attending coming up in the fall, he did tell us why he rejected this player from the Gamecocks roster. We're going to come to that later on in the radio broadcast. Scott Fitterer and Frank Reich. You may have heard, Lonzo. I don't know if you caught this, but they drafted a quarterback this year. Number 1 overall, as a matter of fact.
I was looking for him and I didn't see him.
Yeah. Did you look over him?
I think I might have, yes.
Young man by the name of Bryce Young. Bryce Young, of course, the former signal caller for the University of Alabama, is now going to be playing QB in Carolina. But Fitterer had himself a little presser this weekend in which he said that the starting quarterback for week 1, as of today, is Andy Dalton.
Not surprised.
Shouldn't be. We'll tell you what Fitterer said, what the logic was going into that situation later on. Plus, while we're at it, now that we've got our draft picks, now that we know who is going to be wearing process blue next year, we can start to take a look at the projected depth chart for the Carolina Panthers. some spots that some work might need to still be done, some spots that are pretty much locked in. We'll tell you about those later on. Regents, or presidents or chancellors or whatever you want to call them at different schools. Regents are usually the last line of approval or rejection for schools to make decisions within their athletic department. The only thing that was standing between the Texas Longhorns and the Oklahoma Boomer Sooners was the regents of those two schools approving the move of those two schools. The only thing that was left to be done was the big wigs on campus to push the green go-ahead button to send the Horns and the Boomer Sooners into the Southeastern Conference. Well, they reached a decision this weekend. We'll tell you what that is coming up later on. Y'all, it is May 8th, 2023. We are a very long way away from college football kickoff of 2023. It will kick off this year on September 1st, which means that, Zoe, our countdown clock from now until toe meeting leather stands at 115 days, 14 hours, 48 minutes, and 21 seconds from right now. It also means something else. It means that preseason polls right now, probably jumping the gun just a little bit, just a wee bit, because we got a lot, man. Now, we do have spring ball behind us. We got spring games behind us, but we still have summer workouts. We still have camp going in. We got fall ball, fall scrimmages, etc. All of that still stands between us and the start of the college football season, 115 days, 14 hours, 47 minutes, and 32 seconds away from right now. We are indeed counting down. Zoe, not going to stop us from talking about a good college football poll. Not going to stop us from taking a look at some preseason prognostications.
You mean good guesses?
I would even question if good is the right word.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I'm really looking forward to it.
We'll just go with guesses.
Okay. All right.
ESPN, the 4-letter. We gave you USA Today's preseason post-spring poll early last week, about a week ago. We gave you some of the highlights. South Carolina not ranked at all. Clemson ranked number 8. And ranked number 8 behind another ACC program in their post-spring preseason prognostications. ESPN has had their college football writers put out their poll. We now know what their poll looks like. We now know where they currently stand. I am going to give you that coming up in just a few minutes. We will take a look at ESPN's post-spring preseason prognostications, and we will see how y'all feel about the way that they have them lined up. Coming to that later on in the radio broadcast. The NBA was quite hot this weekend, including last night, where Nikola Jokic, the should-be most valuable player of the National Basketball Association, dumped 53 points into the bucket, and yet they lost. They lost on a night where Nikolai went over the half-century mark solo. So what happened? Well, we'll talk about that. And a nice little off-the-court altercation taking place involving Nikola Jokic. We're going to get to that in just a little while. James Harden, Lonzo, I stopped the presses. I don't know if I regret to inform you or if I am pleased to inform you. I guess it depends on where you stand regarding your view of James Harden as a basketball player. But James Harden, the postseason edition, pretty good. Pretty good. The Beard powered Philly to an OT win over the Celtics, including dropping a couple of stone cold killer shots on the Celtics.
Is he consistent though? Because it seems like every other game I'm hearing about him more so than every game.
Yes. In game 1, the 76ers win. James Harden was a machine. In game 3, the 76ers won. James Harden was a machine.
So every other game, like I said.
Yes. However, keep in mind that in game 2, you had the return of Joel Embiid. Harden was trying to work around the guy who was named the league MVP in Joel Embiid. And he kind of changed his game up. Last night, he decided, bump that, and took back over himself. Had himself a night. Now, it did not help any at all that Jason Tatum was white hot garbage in this performance for the C's. But Harden got it done. We're going to talk about James Harden. Because, Lonzo, if I asked you to name me in the history of the National Basketball Association, how many guards had 10 or more 40-point playoff games, who would you say might be on that list? Kobe, LeBron, Mike?
It's hard for
Magic.
me now because what are positions in the NBA? I mean, you used to know who's what.
That's fair. A lot of these guys play fluid positions. LeBron James is not a guard, but he's not a forward. He's somewhere in the middle. Nikola Jokic is not, he's a big man, but he's a power forward as much as he is a center. I get it. But if we're forced to label a guy based on the position that he should be playing, James Harden is a guard. He's a shooting guard, but he's a guard.
I was going to say, when I think guard, I think someone who can guard you, and he doesn't really do that. But he does shoot the ball pretty well.
In NBA history, ladies and gentlemen, there are 4 players that have 10 or more 40-point games as a guard. Those 4 players are Michael Jordan, Jerry West, Kobe Bryant, and James Harden. So we'll talk about the legacy of James Harden later on in the radio broadcast. Speaking of guys who are hot and then cold, yes and then no, in and then out, up and then down, Katy Perry makes an appearance on the show. Anthony Davis is Schrodinger's basketball player. That's a hell of a nerd joke.
You went from Katy Perry to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm well-rounded.
I don't know if they're opposites, but they just don't sound like they belong together.
I'm well-rounded, not just physically, all right? Culturally as well. Anthony Davis is either a top 5 player in the National Basketball Association's playoffs or bad. And this has been an interesting dichotomy because now the Lakers, after punking the Warriors, and I mean punking, not like, hey, punking.
Yeah, because there was no G on the end.
Yeah, I realized that after I said it. I'm like, I sound like my
G.
aunt. Hey, punkin. After punking the Golden State Warriors in game 3, I'm about to dump a paycheck on the Dubs to win game 4. Because that's the pattern that Anthony Davis has followed. I'll tell you what I mean later on in the show. And in a segment that I'm very excited to get Lonzo's opinion on, Zoe, a punch was thrown and connected.
I saw.
At the conclusion of yesterday's NASCAR race in Kansas Motor Speedway.
Diesel threw a heck of a punch.
Kinda accurate.
You blur that a little bit. That's Diesel throwing that punch. I'm just because the beard. I'm just saying that way. I was Diesel, and then I looked and saw who it was.
Diesel?
Yeah.
The final break of this hour, you will want to be on the live stream with us because I'm going to actually play the video of that punch, the whole setup of the situation, and then we are going to have the discussion. Was the punch justified? Would you have thrown it if it was you? That's going to end this hour when we come back here in just a minute. Shane Beamer says he had a relatively highly touted recruit out of the transfer portal that wanted to be a Gamecock. And Shane told this player no. Why? I'll tell you when we come back. A, do you believe the story? And B, if so, was it the right call? We'll talk about that next. My name is Rob Brown. That's the great one, Lonzo. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, I got a live read right here. Stay right there. We will be right back.
ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
All right, James. So I'm on medication, which is making me a little slow. So I don't get it. So, I mean, you'll have to enlighten me. I'm just a little slow today. Medication has me off just a tad. Maybe it's a shirt. If it's a shirt, this is not Texans. This is anime.
Texans, because that's where your boy CJ Stroud's playing now.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Yes, you're right. I'll be rooting for that. I'll shake this stuff off here pretty soon. I was fine, and then it hit me a little. By the way, do you know why this is on the board?
No.
Do you know what it is? It's the grenade they used to try to kill the bunny. And yeah.
The holy hand
grenade. Yeah. The coronation. No, there was one.
No, I know. That's like a legit thing.
Yeah. And so it's
not a grenade. But
it was trending. It was hilarious. And someone has already put over the Monty Python over the actual coronation doing the thing. And no, I did not watch the coronation, but I saw bits and pieces. Mostly on Twitter and mostly people making fun. But it's, the only time we've ever seen the crowning of, because Elizabeth was like 100 and something. He also looked really small on that throne.
He's got sausage fingers.
Yeah.
All right. Remind me to talk about that later. There are coaches in collegiate football who are electing to live and die by the transfer portal. And it is a strategy just like any other strategy. There are all types of recruiting strategies. Recruit regionally, recruit nationally, recruit hardworking 3-stars, recruit any 5-star. There's all sorts of different strategies about how to compose a collegiate football team. But there are a lot of teams who are heavily leaning into the transfer portal. Shane Beamer, I think, Lonzo, has done a very admirable job of working the portal. It does not feel like he is trying to meet every need out of the portal, but it also certainly does feel like he is more than willing to dip into it for the right guy.
Well, he absolutely needed it when he first got there.
Sure.
And he had to embrace it because what Muschamp left behind. So he had to fill some gaps with some guys that were available. So I don't fault him for that at all. I can't wait to hear this story, though.
Shano was giving a media interview the other day, and it was asked the question about the portal. And during the presser, he told this story. He said, quote, "We had a young man that wanted us to promise him a starting spot last night, and we wouldn't. So he's going to another SEC school. We're not promising starting jobs. We're here to compete. That's the first thing," end quote. Of course, fans out of the gate started reacting on social media to this. One person said on Twitter, quote, "Only desperate teams make those kinds of promises." Another fan replied, "Excellent character from an excellent coach." A third fan said, "This is why I love Shane. Nothing is given. You've got to earn that spot." Now, Shane is not unique in being having a request made of him from a potential transfer. It has happened before. You guys may remember back in January, Nick Saban told a similar but dramatically more ridiculous story about a transfer player making request of the University of Alabama. Nick Saban said that there was a transfer portal story of a kid. In fact, I'll just read you the quote. He said, quote, "Someone with one of the best corners in the nation came to me and asked if we'd pay them $800,000 for the player to sign here. I told him he can find another place to play. I'm not paying a kid a bunch of NIL money before he earns it. But that was all. He said there was another player who, quote, wanted $500,000 and for us to get his girlfriend into law school at Alabama and pay for it. I showed him the door, end quote.
So you really don't believe it? Because I do.
No. I absolutely believe it.
Okay. All right.
Now, what I am going to say is I think, a pretty good foundation to stand on. That a guy like Nick Saban, who is going to let NIL do its thing because you have to.
I was going to say you can't stop it, so
you don't have a choice. But it was made it abundantly clear that he's not a big fan. And why would he be? It makes it harder for him to hoard the talent at Alabama if other schools can fork over some cash and the kids want some scratch and they're willing to go to a lesser team in order to, what's the word? Get paid. Of course he doesn't like it. But does it make sense that a guy who does not like NIL would make up a story about a kid making a ridiculous NIL request to be on his team? Yes. People, and I'm not accusing anyone of it, but I will accuse everybody of it. People lie. And this may shock you. People lie specifically and especially if it helps them to cast a shadow on something that they do not like. This, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on. That's ridiculous.
Shocking.
No one would ever do such a thing.
Correct. This is, at its core, the number one problem with American politics today. People will lie to make the other guy look bad, and it goes in both directions. No one is clean. No one is clean. So what I am saying is, I would not be shocked to find out that Nick Saban's stories are just a wee bit exaggerated from a guy that doesn't like the NIL. For him to make up a story that makes a kid who wants big NIL money look bad, or for him to make up an unfalsifiable story. You've heard me use that word a lot, right? Don't waste your times on claims that are unfalsifiable. They cannot be proven incorrect. There's no point to a conversation about a claim that is unfalsifiable. I will never be able to prove that this happened. The only person who could prove it happened would be Nick Saban if he came forward with an email or a text or some documentation in the name of a player, which he's not going to do. So it's possible he's lying. But I don't think he does in this case, right? I don't necessarily know that he would here. I could absolutely see it happen. $500K for one of the top corners in America, according to Nick Saban, is really not that much money. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's a significant sum of money, sure. But remember the kid that was going to go play for Florida before their NIL collective fell apart? Do you remember how much that guy was going to be paid? Wasn't it like $13 million worth of NIL deal that he was offered? $500K for a shutdown corner is a steal, ladies and gentlemen. So Shane saying that a kid wanted just to be guaranteed a starting role isn't all that outlandish to be ridiculous. It's not all that crazy as to be unbelievable. I don't think that it is. I don't think that it is. I will say this. Shane handled this properly. Shane handled this correctly. Listen, if a guy wants to come play, if a guy wants to come compete, if a guy wants to come be a player, and also wants to make some scratch for doing it, I got no problem with that guy. If a guy shows up and his primary motivation for playing is to build his brand to make money. I got no problem with that. We played you the clip last week of Patrick Beverly, who said that he believes 50% of NBA players don't really love playing basketball. It's just a really good way to get really rich doing a difficult job, but not difficult job, right? So if a college kid says, yeah, I'll come to your school and I will bust hump to be the best player I can be to build my brand and make money. You know who else does that? Everybody. Well, everybody with a job. We all sell a little something of ourselves to make scratch to pay the bills.
Yeah, but I mean, not everyone puts forth the same effort.
That
Some
is also
people just,
correct.
show up,
That is also correct. We would like to think that with some exceptions here and there, though, the people who put the most in get the most out. That's not how it works, but in an ideal world, it would be. So if a kid wants to come play for my school and his primary motivation is to build that brand and make that paper, and he's going to show up and compete to build a brand, great, fine. Welcome to the team, son. And if you're good enough to be a starter, congratulations. Your big old face is going to be on the Jumbotron 44 days from now, whatever that number was. So I absolutely think that Shane saying, I will not guarantee you a starting spot, and because you asked for one, bounce. Here's the thing. Carolina still needs more talent. It's a good team. It's a team that is trending upwards without a doubt, but they are still a team that needs more talent.
It's also a major message to the guys that are on the team now.
100%.
Yeah, that we could have brought this guy in and gave him a job. We're not doing that. So don't think that your job's guaranteed. You got to get out there and bust your butt and earn it yourself.
100%. I agree entirely. The thought here was, while you may have, and we don't know who the kid is, what position he played, we just know, according to Shane, if you believe him, that he's playing for another SEC school next year. What we can look at here is very simple. Shane is now telling the boys in his program, I believe in y'all. I think you're good enough. I think you can do it. But ain't nobody guaranteed nothing as far as this program goes. It's a great message to the fan base. I think it's a great message to the team. And frankly, I think it's a great message to transfer portal players. Now, I would love to know who this player is, and I'd love to know who signed him. I would love to know who he's going to be playing for next year. Every team took in a few transfers, so I don't know that we're ever going to be able to even deduce who it is. But this was handled well by Shane Beamer. We're not giving you a starting spot. We will give you the opportunity to come earn it. What happens next is up to you. And the relationship didn't work out. I think you sent a great message to your fans. I think you sent a great message to your team. I think you sent a great message to other transfer portal players. Hey, top tier schools, top guys are not just going to be made a starter. The kid that Tyler Buckner, kid that transferred out of Notre Dame, the quarterback, now at the University of Alabama. 50 cents on a bet says Nick Saban didn't promise him he's QB1 when week 1 rolls around in early September. Jalen Milrose right there with some PT experience under Nick Saban. I like this. As a guy who is pro transfer portal, as a guy who is pro NIL, as a guy that thinks that it makes college football better and more interesting, I also don't have a problem with a coach running his program however he wants to run it, with the understanding that it might bite you. Because what if this recruit goes to Arkansas, hypothetically, and turns into an all-SEC player and a first-round draft pick? Yeah, he might have been a gimme kind of guy. But if he turns into an all-SEC player and a first-round draft pick, do you think Carolina would have been better with him in the defensive backfield? Yes. Yes, they would have. The reason a guy acts like that ordinarily is because he's been so good and so far above everybody else his whole life that he's never been told no before. Hell, to this kid, it probably was a shock to be told no, right? But this was more about communication with the fans, with the team, with the program, and with the individual players within it than it was about this one kid. And I got mad respect to Shane, just like I do with Nick Saban. If the stories Nick Saban is telling are true, I got respect for that. I got no problem with that. But we'll see. Let's take a break. I want you guys to join us on the live stream right now. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, or go to YouTube and search The Fan Upstate. During the break here in a second, I'm going to play you a video of some fisticuffs that took place at the NASCAR race at Kansas Motor Speedway this weekend. And we are going to ask the question, was the punch justified? Very simple. We'll talk about that when we come back. Rob Lonzo and you on the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. To answer the question about the starting 11, Skrilla, I got told towards the end of the month that was not a viable contest for me to give away things for. So I have to reevaluate what that looks like, how that looks, and put it back together. Give me 30 seconds. I'll come back with that video. Stay right there. All right, dudes and dudettes, I am back. Let me pull this video up real quick. So to set you up for this conversation, Ross Chastain is one of the most disliked racers on the NASCAR circuit. And I would acknowledge that he tends to drive a little crazy sometimes. Ross Chastain was approached by Noah Gragson after the race was over. They got into it on the track a little bit this past weekend. And after the race was over, they had, we'll call it a wee bit of a confrontation. So Gregson's in the black, Chastain's in the white.
We're discussing what happened.
With the worst haircut in NASCAR. He's got the Kim Jong-un look going on there. Walks over, and bang, there's the right hand.
They were discussing what happened.
I think you're good here. You're talking. Does this, though, right there, that grab of the collar, right? He grabs it right under the collar by the jersey.
You don't do that.
And is hanging on to him, right? He's kind of pushing him backwards a little bit. And you can see, and this is where I think the punch gets justified. Look at Gregson's right fist. It's bald.
It is. You're right.
It's bald. The grab by the collar, I'm probably still trying to talk my way out of this. But when that fist gets clenched up, and don't think Chastain didn't see that, because look at his left hand. Where did it go? Immediately down to lock that arm up, right? So he uses his left arm to lock up what I assume is the dominant hand of Noah Gragson. Now, he's still got the right hand pushed down. Gregson's fist is still balled up. He's using his left hand. Gragson is in the black. He's still got the shirt of Ross Chastain. Chastain gets pushed back a couple of steps. Security guard tries to step in, and bang, over the top comes Chastain, and he catches him flush.
So
dude.
so what he does is when
Wow.
he pushes Chastain back, he gives him the perfect distance to throw the
Yes, he
spot.
does.
Now the question is Chastain hanging on with his left to make sure that he gets that? Is he pulling the arm forward, the left arm forward when he throws the punch to get even more, to get a little more torque in there?
I think so right there, like you see him grab the right arm of Gregson, which is the right move, right? He can't throw a punch from right there. And because his left hand is working the shirt, is working the fire suit there, here's where he makes the mistake. When he does that little shove right there, he pushes the right shoulder of Chastain away from him.
Right, and he gave him the perfect distance.
If you're going to grab that dude by the collar, you pull him to you. You close the distance, right? Because now if he's got a punch, it's got to be, you can't get power out of that. But when you push that left shoulder further away from him,
unless you're Tyson or someone like that, that quick jab would. But no, he gave him the perfect distance to throw.
When he pushes him away right there, that little kind of two push right there, he opens the distance, bang, and Chastain comes over with the right. And I got to tell you, I'm not a go to the punch quick guy, but he was holding on to the shirt for a minute, and the right fist got balled up.
Here's the thing.
That's a justified punch.
Watch the video with the audio up and listen to the sound of the punch.
Oh, he gets him.
It's a clean pop.
It
really is.
Yeah, I'll try to stop. I don't know if I can stop. Look at there you go.
Look at that.
Look at that. So if you didn't join us on the stream, you missed out during the break because we did a fight breakdown. One of Alonzo and I's favorite thing to do during the commercial break is go to the Walmart parking lot fight breakdown. Now, I'm a NASCAR guy. Sat down yesterday with our boy Kevin from downstairs, watched a little NASCAR at Kansas in the afternoon. During the last couple of laps of the race, Noah Craigson and Ross Chastain. Now, Chastain is known as one of the most reckless drivers on the track, all right? He is a dude who has no qualms about putting his front quarter into your back left and put you into a fence if it's going to earn him another spot on the track. While there are ways to make it look like you didn't do it on purpose, a lot of drivers believe that Ross Chastain is constantly wrecking people on purpose. And if you do it enough, it gets hard to argue that that is the case. After the race was over, Noah walks over to Ross Chastain and has some words for him. He got spun out by Ross in the last couple of laps, cost him a lot of spots. Well, he walks up to him and they're having a confrontation. Now, this happens in NASCAR. Hey, you did this. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. And NASCAR has, as much as it is going to try to tell you this isn't the case, part of the reason a lot of people watch NASCAR, Lonzo, is what?
Rex
and confrontation. And while NASCAR, I think over the years has made its best effort to try to shed that image, if you watch commercials upcoming this weekend, they'll be at Darlington, right down the road. What's that, 3 hours from here, ballpark? It is throwback weekend at Darlington, right? All the cars are going to have paint schemes from the 70s and 60s. All the fans are going to be in cutoff denim jorts. It's going to be a great weekend. I still haven't decided I'm not driving over
yet.
So
like normal. I mean, the dress is
Darlington.
probably, I mean, come on.
I think they make it throwback weekend because the crowd already looks that way. You know, might as well paint the cars to match. So, Noah walks up to Ross, who is one of the most disliked racers amongst racers in NASCAR, and gets into his face a little bit. No problem, right? You're going to talk it out. We're going to have some words. But then Ross Chastain, in his discomfort in the situation, you can tell is a little on edge, right? And you know he's on edge because, and if you're not watching the stream again, you can go there now. I'm still playing the video. Look at his arms, Lonzo. They're like being held stiff but out front of him. That is in a posture where if that guy comes forward, you can get those hands up. Like an offensive lineman, get into the chest, create separation, right? Well, then Noah, seeing that escalation, escalates himself. He grabs the fire suit of Ross Chastain right above his right pectoral muscle with his left hand.
Tight grip, by the way. He's got a good bit of
Oh,
cloth
yeah.
in there, so it's going to take a little effort to get him loose.
Oh, yeah. Got that fire suit square. Ross Chastain is not getting away. Now, the question I'm going to have is, in just a minute, Ross Chastain throws a right hand at Noah, and he lands it flush. Question was, based on this breakdown, was the punch justified? And my answer is, yes, it was, and here's why. Right there on the screen, if you're watching the stream, and if you're not, I'll describe it to you the best I can. If you look at the right hand of Noah, it is out from the body and the fist is balled up. That is the hand of a man waiting for the opening, right? That's a guy telegraphing his punch, but he's waiting for the opening. But Chastain ain't no dummy. This is country smart right here. Chastain takes the left hand, reaches down, and he grabs the right forearm of Noah Gragson. He's got the right forearm. That punch cannot be thrown from that position. That punch is now out of the question. But Noah put himself in a boat situation here because the right hand, his punching hand, has now been taken out of the equation by Chastain's left hand. Noah has his left hand still holding the fabric of the fire suit. As Lonzo said, he's got a good grip on it, of Ross Chastain. The only arm left available in this equation is Ross Chastain's right arm. It's the only one that's not hindered or hampered in any way because Chastain doesn't grab the left arm of Noah. He lets him hang on to the fire suit because if your left hand is hanging on to fire suit, what can't it do?
It cannot punch.
That's exactly right. You can't hit me with a left cross, right? So he lets him hang on to the fire suit. Smart move from Ross Chastain as he takes Noah's right arm out of the equation. Well, then Noah makes the biggest mistake of this whole thing. He takes the fire suit and he kind of jerks Ross Chastain by the fire suit, right? He kind of shakes him a little bit. But when he goes with the second shake, Noah extends that left hand out. And what has he done when he stretches that left hand out? He has created separation between he and Ross Chastain. And what does Ross Chastain have now? He's got the right arm of Noah locked up with the left arm. He's got his right hand back because he's pushed the right shoulder away. Noah pushed his right shoulder away. That back hand is right, or is that right hand is back, and it is in the perfect spot to come over the top of that fire suit grab and land a perfect punch, and he does.
All right, real quick, because
Bang.
we got to go to break. Which do you obviously the chin? That's a strong chin because he did not go down. And the other thing is it lack of power by Chastain? The fact that he didn't knock him out. I mean, because Noah recovers pretty quick and is ready to get in there if the other guy doesn't stop him, and also in the way of his dominant hand when he jumps in.
First off, let's start this. That punch is flush, dude.
Oh no, it's a great
That
punch.
is
It's,
right on
so
the jaw.
so you got to respect the chin more.
I gotta respect the chin of Noah because that punch puts a normal guy to sleep. All right, that punch was flush on the jaw. I've got it stopped on the contact. That punch is flush on the jaw. Noah gets rocked over to the right, but see, Ross did something else smart here. He sees where the security guy is. Where's the security guy? To his left, Noah's right. So even if Noah wants to throw a return punch, which he does, that security guy's in between. Security guy's arm goes and overhooks Noah's right arm. Noah can't get a fire back. All he's got to do now is wait for the fire suit grip to be broken. It is. Ross Chastain wins that round 10-8 and does so with a very justified return fire. When we come back, let's talk a little Panther football, shall we? My name is Rob Brown. Great Malonzo's at the board. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to The Fan Upstate.
It's DM. Wake up with a morning jolt of in-depth sports analysis and discussion every weekday at 6 on the DA Show. Only on the Fan Upstate.
There's a race going on inside your body, and sometimes
Who's winning?
guys, otherwise known as arthritis, get there first. That's when the joint pain kicks in.
Your healing process is just too slow and just can't catch up, and it needs just a little bit of help from QC Kinetics.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a QC Kinetics medical director.
We all know that you can heal yourself if you get a cut, it heals.
So,
Your joints are no different.
on Bet for the Cycle, Hayton asked Mario did have to pick up the dog poop barehanded.
Yeah, I saw it. That's pretty gross.
So here is the question. I'm letting him off the hook. He's done it. He's completed the mission. He's free. The punishment was he had to go to a dog park and ask a dog owner to let him do that. He approached 5 people, and shockingly, none of them said yes. They all said no.
Was that sarcasm, or did you really expect someone to say yes?
That was very sarcasm.
Okay, because that was the part that I was concerned about
So-
the entire time.
What he did
It's like, creepy dude, go away.
Was go to the trash can, pulled out a recently deposited bag of doggy doo, opened the bag, dumped it on the ground, and then picked it up with his bare hand.
That's producer ingenuity right there. That's what that is.
Right. But that wasn't the punishment. Punishment was you have to ask and get somebody to tell you yes and then do it. Now, we let him get away with it because the poor kid almost yacked on camera, and we felt bad.
What'd you expect to happen? I mean, come on.
I expected him to have to ask 10 to
No,
20
no.
people
What I'm
before
talking
he
about, the
said
fact
yes.
that he almost threw up. Didn't I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
you
that
had
was
to
awful.
expect that.
Now, the bet this week is that the loser, Cody and I lost our parlay by a half of a hit, has to consume the bomb hot sauce. That is the hottest hot sauce on the Hot Ones show. It is one of the hottest sauces available on the market right now. So we have left it up to the social media, and I'll let you guys pitch in on this as well. Do we have, though, do we have the hot sauce consumed on a buffalo wing, which coat a wing in the sauce and then eat it, or shot glass full of it straight to the face?
I say you go for the wing,
Go for the
just because it's, you know, you're saying it's off that show, and that's where people know it from,
Mm-hmm.
and you won't have to eat. It will be less lethal on the wing, I would think, but you know, you guys are not doing it during the show, right?
Yes.
That's do you have backup plans in case you guys can't talk?
Well, I mean, first off, the goal is to make the production team do it so that we're fine. But if Cody and I do it and we have to take a break, Mario will get to host his own segment.
There we go. See, here's my way of thinking, Steven. That was my first question, was more about the show than the actual, because the show is, you know, they're getting paid to do a show, and if they can't do it, that could be bad for them. So
eat it on a wing or straight shot glass to the face. How do we do this? I would have to half kill a man.
nonchalantly, yeah, I tell you that.
Yeah, I just gotta kill a guy. I mean,
Half kill.
he's not dead, Lonzo.
Yeah, he's not.
only mostly dead.
That's right.
Mostly dead is partially alive.
Exactly.
So I can't show him yet, but Doug just sent me a picture of the kids. Oh, they're dope, dude. You can come around and look if you want.
I'll
We
wait
gotta
and
go back to the
I'll
hour.
wait and see it live.
They are sick.
I don't like spoilers, Rob.
They
I
are
thought you didn't like spoilers either.
Sick.
Bare knuckle
Oh.
fighting in the first break.
I love them. Oh, okay. Courtney just sent me a text saying she wants to watch Cocaine Bear tonight.
Okay.
I'm about to get myself in a wee bit of trouble, Zoe, but I'm gonna do it for A, your entertainment, and B, because I need you guys to settle a debate for me. For those of you that do not know, on Saturdays from noon to 4, I, along with former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker, host a nationally syndicated baseball gambling radio and internet show called Bet for the Cycle, which is available to you all on the BetQL network and the BetQL app. One of the reasons that we decided to bring that show back is we have a yes, because they pay us for it, but also because we're getting paid to have a blast. And one of the things we do to make the show fun is we have a challenge, a contest that we do every Saturday called Parlay v Parlay Challenge. Myself and Cody build a 3-leg parlay based on one game that day. Our production team, Rick, Double D, and our favorite hating ass Mario, so named by America's favorite baseball player, Tim Anderson himself.
Wow, how cool would that be to have like a 3-person production team? That would be awesome.
They built a 3-leg parlay from the same game. Now, you can include anything you want in the parlay. You can include a spread bet. You can include a player prop. You can include anything you want. And we pop those into the website of our sponsor, BetMGM, and it gives us the odds. If neither team's parlay hits, we lose. Both sides lose. And the bet goes to the next week. We do it again. But we make the punishment worse. If one team wins, the other team has to take a punishment on the show the next week. And if both teams win, then the team that had the parlay with the longer odds is declared the winner. So, for instance, this week, the productions team parlay checked out at plus 648. Ours checked in at like plus 935 or something like that. We would have won had they both hit. Now, we both missed out. They missed 2 legs. We missed by Luis Reyes getting a single. We needed him to get a double, and we win. Week 1's parlay challenge, Lonzo. The punishment was that Cody Decker and I had to eat ranch-flavored ice cream, a full, thorough scoop of it. Cody, living in New York, was unable to find the ranch ice cream, so Cody had to eat vanilla ice cream thoroughly coated in ranch dressing. It was bad. The second punishment was taken by hating ass Mario, our producer. Mario had to go to a dog park and pick up dog refuge with his bare hand and walk it to a trash can and put it away in front of a dog park full of people, which he played the video of live on the show. This week's punishment, which will be taken by whatever team loses the next parlay challenge, is to consume Da Bomb sauce. Now, if you are aware of the internet sensation, a show called Hot Ones, this is a game that is played where the interviewer sits down with a celebrity and does an interview, but while they do the interview, they eat progressively more spicy chicken wings. So I have two things here. The first is the punishment worse for the losing team, Zoe, and all of you out there in the Rob Brown Show Armada? Is the punishment worse to thoroughly coat a chicken wing in the bomb sauce and eat it? Or is the punishment worse to fill a shot glass with the bomb sauce and drink it? What do you guys think? Text your answer 71307. Start your text with fan and either put wing or glass. We are taking a social media and on-air poll all week for the answer to this. Is it worse to coat a wing? And by the way, it's got to be a drummy, and you have to take all the meat off of it. Not a bite. You got to finish the wing. Or is it worse to fill a 1 ounce shot glass to the rim with the bomb sauce and take it straight to the face? What is the worst punishment?
See, they want you to suffer. I mean, I want it to hurt a little bit, but I don't want,
Oh, it's going to suck.
I don't want irreparable damage, which still could happen. Although I think it'd be easier to take the shot because you don't have to keep chewing to get the rest. So maybe the worst punishment is actually eating the wing.
See, I said I think the wing is going to be more difficult, right? Because with the shot glass.
Because you also have anticipation because you got, you just took that bite. You got to take another
Yep.
bite. And that first one hurt with the
Yep.
shot. It's all at once.
Here was my thing. I think the wing is worse, right? Because Rob Brown may or may not have taken a few shots in his lifetime. All right.
No, really?
Maybe a few.
Okay.
And
Reluctantly, of course.
Yeah, no, there's definitely I was forced to. As someone who has taken a few shots, coerced into doing it, obviously. Especially when some of those shots are of awful tasting liquor. There is a talent, Zoe, to taking the shot, throwing it back, and just getting it down ASAP, right? With as minimal amount of taste as possible.
Do you hold your breath?
I don't, but most people do.
Okay.
You don't have to. But the key is you press the tongue down into the bottom of the mouth, and then you throw the shot back to just get it down as quickly as possible. The faster you get it down, the less you have to take awful tasting liquor or whatever else it is. The wing has to be thoroughly coated. You take the first bite. Now, I'm a chicken wing expert, all right? It takes 2 bites to clean a drumstick. And on top of that, you have to chew the chicken meat once you bite it off the bone. And if you got to chew, what's that mean? That hot sauce is just sitting there on the tongue, sitting there. And once you get the first bite down, you got to go back for more. No ranch, no blue cheese, just straight hot sauce. So even if you go, Lonzo, with the strategy of bite, spin it, bite before you even take it away from the face, you still got to chew, and that hot sauce lingers on the tongue. I think eating the wing is worse because it's not like the wing is going to take the hot away. It's not like it decreases it any. Still going to suck. But I think that's going to be the punishment. Texture says, let's see, glass. Worse is shot glass. There's more hot sauce in it. Yeah, that's fair. There is going to be a lot more hot sauce in the glass than would be on the wing.
But it's probably, as has been pointed out, not going to linger the way the chicken will be, because when you eat the chicken wing, you go get some in your teeth.
Yeah.
There's no way
It's
to
gonna
eat it
hang
and not
out
do
there.
it. That's right.
You're not wrong. Texture said it'll come out the glass and then out your, okay, on to the next text. Well constructed. You're a poet. I'd say wing stays in your mouth longer, which I think would let the spice linger longer. So that's my thought too. There's more of it in the glass, but I'm getting it down faster, right? The glass, it's gone.
The wing's going to require a lot more effort.
Yeah, I think that's it. Now, the second thing that came off of this show, and this, Lonzo, I think I may have I may have screwed up here. Mario is a fan of the Chicago Cubs. Big Cub guy. This past weekend, the Chicago Cubs pulled up their number one prospect, a kid by the name of Matt Mervis. Matt Mervis played his baseball at Duke. Matt Mervis is a 25-year-old first baseman and power hitter. He's got the potential to be a pretty good player. But the Cubs fans, I called them out for believing that Matt Mervis is going to be the savior of Chicago, right? Because the Cubs are bad. On paper, they should be good. They got a great pitching staff. They got a solid lineup. They've got wonderful defense. But for whatever reason, they're just bad right now. So Chicago fans believe that Matt Mervis is going to be the savior of Chicago, including Hayden Mario, which I told him, no, he's not going to be. And he said, Rob, I will bet you right now he wins the National League Rookie of the Year award. Right now, Matt Mervis is 35-1, plus 3,500 on the books to win the NL Rookie of the Year. There are about 16 guys that have better odds than Matt Mervis to win the National League Rookie of the Year award, Lonzo. I am 96% confident Matt Mervis is not winning this award. In fact, I'm not even confident he's not going to get sent back down to the minors to polish up a little bit, right? Now, he came out, first game, got a hit in an RBI. Second game, got a hit in an RBI. Third game, he got a hit in an RBI. That's pretty consistent. Not necessarily Rookie of the Year numbers, but Mario was talking so much smack about this guy being the dude, and he said he was willing to take a bet that Matt Mervis would be the NL Rookie of the Year. And I said, I accept that bet. And I challenged him, Lonzo, and you will react to this because you'll know where this is coming from, to a hair versus hair match.
That's, I thought we said, I thought you said that hair was off the board.
I did.
Yeah.
Not that hair.
Oh, okay. All right.
If Rob Brown wins, Hayden Mario has to go to the spa and has to get a full Brazilian wax. And
oh, it has to be a wax. Oh no.
Hayden Mario, if Rob Brown wins, which means if anybody except Matt Mervis wins the Rookie of the Year, anybody but him, I get the field, he gets that guy. If anybody else gets it, Mario's got to go to the spa and get a full Brazilian. He has to bring his girlfriend with him, and she has to film his face while he undergoes this process. We then have to get confirmation that this procedure was finished.
What, receipt or something?
We don't know.
How do you get
We
confirmation?
got to figure that out because we don't want pictures, but we got to figure it out. Okay? If Matt Mervis wins.
This is where it hurts when you guys are not all in the same area because you could actually go there.
Right.
Yeah.
If Matt Mervis, and this is where I think I got myself in trouble. If Matt Mervis, Lonzo, wins the National League Rookie of the Year, which will be handed out November 14th or 15th. If Matt Mervis is the National League Rookie of the Year, I have to shave my head bald. Bic treatment. Down to the skin, my man. Okay? Now, Mario said,
Have you guys come up with a date for the wedding yet?
hold, just hold a second,
Okay,
please.
all right.
Just hold a second, please.
So I jumped ahead. I do that.
It's all good. Hold a second, please. Mario stupidly put this on the table himself, right? Because I said, here was the bet. The initial bet conditions, Lonzo, were I shave my head bald if you win. If I win, I just need you to get the same haircut I got. Over the ears, professional business haircut, right? That's it. You can keep your hair, but it's just got to be short. I want you to think going from Lionheart Jericho to you just made the list Jericho. That type of transformation. Because Mario's got great hair.
You saw me make
Wince
a
a little
face.
bit.
Yeah, like
So he said no to that. He's like, no, I'm not cutting my hair. I told you that. And then because Mario is young and impulsive, he went, I'll do the Brazilian. Done. Bet. Done. Sold. We're taking it. So
you're willing to risk going full on Lex Luthor just because you know for sure this kid is not going to win the
He
MVP.
is terrified of it. Now,
And you're not afraid of being bald.
he said to me, no, look, and I told him, because so this is where I'm going with it.
We've all seen your hair and the care that you take
good hair.
with your hair.
It's good hair.
Don't you
great
worry
hair.
that it won't grow back.
No, it'll grow back.
I've seen it happen to someone down the hall. They cut their hair off and boom, it's
It's
never
done.
Yeah, it was done.
So here is what I told him, because he said, well, wait a minute, Rob, this really isn't fair. You get the entire rookie lineup of the National League. I get one guy and one guy that's at plus 3,500 odds. And I said, well, here's what you've got to consider, Hayden Asmar. A couple of things. Number one, I got a big ass head, man. I got a big head. I wear like a 7 5/7 hat.
Well, it's
It's a big head.
it's not as big as mine, but
right,
I
but
mean,
you got a big head on a big body.
that's true.
I got a big head relative to my body, right? So I'm gonna look ridiculous. I said, step
You're
two.
not like JD McDonough. I mean, his head is way
His
too.
head's huge.
Yeah.
I said, here's step number two. Number two is I do a live radio show on stream 5 days a week where I'm trying to make an impression on the world. And now I got to go on that stream cue-balled. All right? Not a great look for me.
For him, on other people, bald looks
Yeah,
really
absolutely. It's not
For
a great
sure.
look for me. I shaved my head, Lonzo, in the third grade, Miss Gherkin's class. And even in third grade, I looked at my head and went, never again. I have not shaved my head since I was, how old are you in third grade? 7? Something like that? I've not shaved my head
good.
since then.
It might be 8, but
Whatever.
yeah,
Not shaved my head since then.
I've never had my head shaved.
So I said, but here's the part, Mario, that puts all the risk on me. If you lose and you got to get a Brazilian wax, you're uncomfortable for 11 to 15 minutes. That's it. Then you're done.
And when things start growing back and you get that itch,
I mean, it may
probably, yeah. Just
But the painful part of it will be 11 minutes. If I shave my bald head, y'all, I don't know if we don't have a date yet, but we're committed to getting married next year. My hair grows slow, right? So if in November I got to go cue ball bald, and then the lady friend goes, let's get married in April. You know how long hair grows in 3 months? Not very. Not very.
Can you gather that hair and have a weave made out of it?
I legit might have to. I legit might have to have them collect it to have a wig made to put on. Now, here's the other part that I screwed up.
Yeah, but there's a way around it because you're going to go with the robe. You wear the Ric Flair hair coming in there, and
Not
you're
for a
good.
wedding ceremony, Lonzo.
You
Not
just
for
thought
a
that was the
ceremony.
reception. It's not
Correct.
okay. All right. I was trying
So-
to help.
Here's the part where I might have screwed the pooch. I don't think Matt Mervis is going to win this award, okay? There's 3 guys at the top of the list right now that I think are much better odds, but you never know, right? You never know. There could be some injuries. Matt Mervis could turn into Hank Aaron. I don't know. There's anything that could happen. But he's sitting at plus 3,500 right now. Rookie of the year odds right now. Corbin Carroll's plus 200. James Outman's plus 170. Brett Beatty is plus 600. Matt Mervis is at plus 3,500. Alongside Jordan Walker, another guy that could do it. So, the part that I screwed up was I basically had, Zoe, to make the decision instantaneously to take this bet. I did not have time to text the fiance who was down on a beach in the Bahamas. Hey, are you going to murder me if I shave my head bald in November? And then you decide you want to get married in March or April of next year and I have effectively a buzz cut for a wedding? Are you going to murder me for that? I just had to make the decision. And the decision was for the people, Lonzo, because the entertainment of a video of Hayden Asmario's face getting strip after strip after strip after strip of nether region hair pulled out of his body by hot wax and sticky paper is going to be legendary radio. Legendary radio.
As someone who has many times had to apologize to my spouse when she's asked, why I understand the moment. I get the moment. I absolutely do. And I understand the importance of the entertainment of the people. I do get it. But bald at your wedding, man, I don't know. This might be one of the riskiest ones you've ever done.
This is I'm anxious, right? And here's the thing.
The lettuce should never be in play.
I gotta sweat this bet until November 14th. It is May 8th. I gotta sweat this bet until after the World Series, y'all. That's how long I gotta sweat this bet. But if I win, if this thing pays off, oh, it is gonna be remarkable radio. If it does not pay off, Lonzo, it has been a pleasure knowing you all.
It's still going to be remarkable radio.
I will see you. I don't know what comes I don't know if anything comes after this life. I don't know whatever comes after this life, but whatever it is, I'll see you there because I might get killed.
By the way, advertising opportunity in November. If you would like to rent space on Rob's large bald head, it might be available.
Oh, man. By the way, I still haven't told her I made this bet. She is unaware.
You might have some Paul White vibes going though.
I might.
To keep the beard going, you
I
get
know.
that. I mean, it might be. It looks good on him.
I know. I might shave it and be like, damn. But I won't because I got great hair.
You did.
That or hating ass Mario is going to turn into Ken doll Mario. We'll find out. My name is Rob Brown. That's the great one, Lonzo. We got to take a break. I got a couple of stories I want to get with you when we come back. Coming up in about 40 minutes, head coach of the Greenville Liberty, Julie Carlson, is going to join us here on the radio broadcast, not only to talk a little bit about the Liberty season, which gets started this Friday, by the way, but on top of that, also is going to spend some time debuting the new kit for us this year. You are going to get to see live on the stream the brand new 2023 Greenville Liberty kit. Can't wait. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got a live read. We'll be right back. Stick around. All right, guys. Sorry about that.
Now, CBS Sports Radio.
Feedback.
On your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM, Bentonville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM, Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone, download the Odyssey app, and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate on your HD radio at WFBCH. Computer at The Fan.
FanUpstate.com.
Trey said, good news. If you shave your head, you'll go down in hat size. James said, you're going to look like Kurt Angle for the people. Yes, indeed. He said, the dedication to the gimmick is admirable, but it's not worth it. Oh, that video from Mario would be so worth it, my man. Trey said, I'm a Cubs fan, and I want you to win the bet. I'd hate for this bet to mess with your wedding. Yo, no, she's going to be furious. All right? That's why it's a bet. That's what a punishment is. That's how it works. I couldn't just say, no, I mean, I guess I could have put myself getting a Brazilian on the line.
You could have. And I think that would have been the move.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The odds are so stacked against Mario here that it's like in any other bet, right? It's like in any other gamble. The longer the odds, the more the payout, right? So I read you guys in the last segment, the odds for the NL Rookie of the Year, right? If you take the favorite right now for the National League Rookie of the Year, the favorite right now is James Outman at plus 170. That means that if you bet $100, you get 170 back. You basically make $70, right? Because he's such a favorite. Versus if you bet Matt Mervis, if you bet $100, you get $350 back. The reward for gambling on a long shot and being correct is much, much, much more of a reward than gambling on the favorite. And because I get every favorite above Matt Mervis, Outman, Carroll, Beatty, Senga, Vargas, Steer, and Walker. I get all of them. Plus, I get Terang, I get Weimer, I get Alvarez, I get Wisniewski, all the guys that are under him in the odds. I get all of them. So if I win, it's like betting the heavy favorite, right? It's like betting somebody at minus 250. I got to bet $250 just to win 100 back. Whereas Mario, to put in money terms, if he won this bet, it's like betting $100 and getting 350 back.
All right, so I get all that. So what you're saying is you're 100% sure. That's why you're taking this bet, which means every time you've had a 100% sure thing, it's always panned out for you. You've never lost on 100% sure.
I am 97% sure. There's absolutely a chance that Matt Mervis goes on a tear and catchers can't get him. They can't figure it out. There's absolutely a chance that Matt Mervis is the dude Cubs fans think he is. And in 3 months, we're sitting here, and now Matt Mervis is plus 170, and I got the sweats. Absolutely a chance. But
all right, so Will in the stream wants to know if you keep the beard or go with the Stone Cold goatee.
The bearded stay.
Yeah, you got to go with the beard.
I can't go full Mr. Clean, dude.
He will go with the Paul White look. Yeah, and it'll work.
Yeah,
the Big Show look would definitely work.
And I would also tell you the beard would not get touched from November on. I would have to grow it out.
Let's face it. If Rob shaves his head, he'll be wearing hats for a really long time, and he's got a ton of hats.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Texas said real punishment would be getting a Noah Gregson bowl haircut. The old Kim Jong-un. So
that would be.
It would be, but here's the problem. When the wedding rolls around, I can fix that haircut. It's going to be short, but I can fix it, right? I can get them to kind of trim it up, give me a fade. I'm probably fine.
You fade that in, you'd be all right. Yeah.
I can get that fade and be just fine. There ain't a damn thing you can do with a bald head other than and hope that it grows out real quick. And even if it does, it's not really like you can shape it till it's got some length to it, and that's going to be a minute. And also, I got about a 2.5 month awkward phase where you can't do anything. And next thing you know, I got to come in here with the Stone Man spiked look because that's all you can do with it, right? There's no other options there. If I lose this bet, Y'all, the punishment is going to be severe for me. There is no good to it. There's no redeeming qualities.
Here's a positive thing to this. If you lose the bet, you go bald. It's finally time to grow the mullet. Because I mean, you can grow it from the beginning, and what a beautiful mullet it would be.
I was going to put on the table because I told the lady friend, I'm not cutting it. Every time I do it, I say I'm going to grow it out, and then I whatever. I told her I will get my next haircut when we get married. Right? I'm not cutting it again until we get hitched. I was going to offer up to Mario, and I still may give him the option, but I was going to offer up to Mario. I'll tell you what. For a month before my wedding, which could be in April, May of next year. It could be in October of next year. We don't know yet. But for a month before, I'm not going to cut my hair until then. For a month before, I will shave it down to a mullet because she's going to want it short for the wedding, which is fine. I don't care. I was going to give him the opportunity to rock a mullet for a full month, like a country mullet, no matter what's in that month. TV appearances, public speeches, whatever. But the look on his face when I said, dude, I'm probably getting married next year, and my hair grows slow, he was like, deal, done, bet. So I don't think I'm getting out of it. I'm going to offer it. Hey, dude, I'll do a mullet. And then I can fix it for the wedding. But it is the threat of condemnation from the fiance, from my mother, and everybody else that I'm going to end up going bald if I lose.
I got to say, eventually, I'll probably get tired of making fun of it.
Probably not anytime soon, though.
It might take a while.
Probably not between now and November.
No, I'm going to, it's, you know what? This would be such a shock for me. I don't think I'd have anything to say. It'd be a lot of staring going, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to have to put up like a black shield right here or something so I don't have to see it anymore.
All right. Let's get a couple other things in here before we get to the end of the hour. Remember, head coach of the Greenville Liberty, Julie Carlson, is going to be joining us at 11 o'clock. Not only are we going to talk a little Liberty football with her, the women's professional USLW league team right here in the upstate, but we will be doing this year's kit reveal for the Greenville Liberty as well. That's a big, big day for any club, and you guys are going to get the exclusive first look at the new Liberty kits coming up at 11 o'clock. That is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for that. Real quick segment here. Let me ask you this since we're on the baseball discussion. Great one. You and I are both in the media, which has become a bit of a boogeyman to some people over the years. But fortunately, we're in the sports media, which is not quite as condemned as other forms.
Supposed to be entertainment and, you know, not bringing in all those other elements that have the other form of media. So hell with such disdain. Yes.
Wow. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, based in the OC, Orange County. They are having some issues right now. They're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not a good team, which is too bad considering they have not the best baseball player on the planet, but the two best baseball players on the planet, Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout in that lineup. They also have a cat by the name of Anthony Rendon. Anthony Rendon was brought in because he was a masher at the dish the last couple of years. So Rendon comes over, expected to add even more pop to a solid Angels lineup. But instead, his slugging percentage right now is .292. His career average slugging percentage is .476. He is almost 200 points off his career average. Through this past weekend, Anthony Rendon has yet to hit a home run, and he has just 3 doubles on the season, which is not good for a guy who even last year was one of the game's premier power hitters. And understandably so, When you paid as much as they paid for Anthony Rendon to come in and mash bro, and he is not doing that at all, you might have some questions for the guy, yeah? Hey, like, what the hell? What are we doing here, Anthony? What are we doing? Well, the media had a press conference with the Angels coaches after a game this past weekend. And The Athletic put in a request to spend a few minutes talking with Marcus Timms. He is the hitting coach. You know, the guy who coaches hitting, which Anthony Rendon, who was brought there to do, is not doing. It's fair that if Anthony Rendon's not hitting well, there are two people you want to ask about it. Anthony Rendon and the hitting coach.
Yeah, I'm sure the hitting coach, it's all his fault. I'm sure.
I mean, you got to ask the questions, right? Hey, you guys just paid mucho dinero to this guy, and he is having not just the worst year of his career, but like by a lot.
It's that money curse.
Maybe. So The Athletic put in a request to speak with Angels hitting coach Marcus Timms. However, the Angels changed their media policy and now only allow coaches to speak to the media on a case-by-case basis. They also now make you, as a journalist, submit a list of questions for their approval. Now, that's not the wildest thing I've ever heard before. In fact, most of the big name interviews that we get on the show, usually their agent or booker or whoever, manager, whatever, will ask us for questions that we would like to ask him, right? But you also put on the end, we reserve the right to ask follow-up questions, and usually they're very cool. For most guys, though, it's more along the lines of, if you're going to ask them something that's out of left field, they want to have a minute to put an answer together, not have to think on the fly and end up looking silly. It's very understandable, and it's pretty run-of-the-mill.
See, I don't think it's run of the mill. I think that's putting the media in a box and saying, hey, if you want to come here and you want to ask questions, you can only ask the questions that we're willing to answer.
I'm glad you said that.
And so that means you know how much can you put into your follow-up?
I'm glad you said that.
And especially if you are someone who, which we've talked about before, in a media room with a local team, and that's where you make your money, and you got a shot of being kicked out of that room, then you don't make your money anymore.
I'm glad you said that. Now, what I mean is, like, for instance, when Paul White, the Big Show, friend of the show, came on not terribly long ago, he asked for a list of questions. And the list of questions we sent over were stuff like, who was your favorite big man and small man to work against? What did this happen? How did you end up at AEW? Give us the backstory, yada, yada, yada. But then we also, again, at the end go, and if we have follow-ups, we're going to ask him. Now, Big Show didn't ask that so that he could then send back and go, don't ask me this, don't ask me this, don't ask me this. He just wanted to be able to know, okay, these are what these guys are, kind of the direction we're going to go. The Angels.
Whereas the interviews, our best interviews are ones where we don't have to do that, and those guys are really good with it.
Here's all I can tell you from my experience. The majority of stars that we have on ask for this to happen. The majority of them. But also, the majority of stars don't really care where you go. The good interviews, they don't care where you go. They're going to go with you. They just kind of want to be prepped. Well, the Angels did ask The Athletic for a list of questions that they planned on asking Marcus Timms. The Athletic submitted those questions, and The Athletic received back from the LA Angels of Anaheim a rejection from interviewing Marcus Timms. They said no because, quote, the potential line of questioning was deemed too negative, end quote. My dudes, just so we're clear on this, the LA Angels of Anaheim are 19-16. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but they are a full 2 games behind the Texas Rangers. And they are only a game and a half up on both the Seattle Mariners and the suddenly, shockingly 500 Houston Astros. You have got a guy that you signed for a lot of money. $37 million, Lonzo, just for this season to hit the baseball. He's not hitting the baseball. Is it too negative to ask the hitting coach, why is a guy we're paying over $37 million for a single season of baseball not hitting the ball? That is hot garbage
I think
from the LA Angels. of
aren't
Anaheim.
slumps just a normal thing for baseball, though?
We are 32 games deep. And the guy has 0 home runs, 0 triples, and 3 doubles. He's supposed to be the best or one of the 3 or 4 best power hitters in the game. A slump is fine. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games, I can understand that. This isn't a slump. This is the whole season so far. Opening day was a month and a half ago. We are 31 plus games deep in the season, and he's got no dingus, no triples, 3 doubles. That sucks. That is not $37 million a year money. It's just not. And the Angels are going, nah, you can't talk to that guy? No, you can't have a conversation to ask what's wrong? I'd be furious if I was an Angels fan. Let me take a break. My name is Rob Brown. The Corey Lonzo's at the helm. We're going to be right back after this. Got a couple more stories that I want to talk to you about. We'll get them. And then Julie Carlson, head coach of the Liberty, joins us at 11. Don't go nowhere, because the Rob Brown Show is right here on the Fan Upstate.
Sunday, Carolina took the first 2 games of the series. Game 4 is tomorrow night in Newark. Jack Hughes with 2.
Down.
So I talked about this Saturday. I'm interested in Rob's take on this. So I was at Free Comic Book Day looking around, and an older black dude comes up to me, completely white beard, and he's like, I just want you to know you do my heart good. I'm like, okay. And he's like, seeing someone else our age out here into all this stuff.
I love it.
And I was like, yeah, you're never too old for this. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I do a show on Saturday nights. We talk about all this. He's like, I just want you to know that you do my heart good. And he walked away.
I love that.
Now, see, there are people who take it that way. And then there are other people like my daughter and other people who right away went, oh, because which is, I felt complimented and old at the same time. So I mean, it's cool when people come up and talk to you, but it's just like basically coming up and saying, hey, old man, good to see you're in here amongst the kids. And it's just like, but I should not be offended by it, but just a little part of me is.
Can you see, take the overlay down. Can you see, go away. There it goes. The side of that man's helmet.
That's Ninja Turtle.
He had Ralph Mikey and Donnie on this side and Leo Bigger on the other side. So clearly telling us who his favorite turtle is.
Well, a leader would go for Leo.
But that is the goalie from the Dallas Stars last night. And if I didn't hate Dallas sports, this would have made me a fan. That is a super, super dope look.
Guessing you still ain't went to see Guardians yet. You need to go see it.
Yeah, I was going to go see it this weekend, and then Courtney told me she wanted me to wait so she could go with me. And I can't say no to that.
You shouldn't. You should. I mean, you should wait for her.
Yeah. I did have two very grown men tell me that they cried. So that's cool.
Yeah, but without spoiling, did they tell you why they
No.
cried?
I told
And
them
so,
not to.
and it's probably not for the reason you think.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
from the freelancing Getting the game on the progress.
So we didn't get into it at the end of last week all that much. But Alabama fired their head baseball coach, Brad Bohannon, following an ESPN report regarding, quote, suspicious wagering activity according to the or relating to the team's games. New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania at the end of last week pulled bets about Bama baseball off the board. According to ESPN's report, the Ohio Casino Control Commission suspended betting on the team's baseball games after U.S. Integrity, which is a Vegas independent company, detected suspicious bets on Friday's Alabama LSU game. According to NOLA.com, there was a parlay involving Alabama LSU as well as a, quote, large straight bet, end quote, on LSU to win. Surveillance video from BetMGM Sportsbook in Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, where the bets were placed, indicated that the bettor was communicating with Bohannon at the time the wagers were placed. Alabama pitcher Luke Holman was slated to start that contest, but an hour before the game, there was a change made. And reliever Hagan Banks was told that he would be starting instead. Shortly after Bohannon was fired, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey released a statement that said the conference has, quote, zero tolerance, end quote, when it comes to a sports betting scandal. Apparently what happened was this guy, this head coach, Brad Bohannon, had a amigo that he was on the phone with. The amigo goes to the sports book at the ballpark in Cincinnati and puts a very large bet on LSU to defeat Alabama that day and lays down a very large parlay bet that included LSU beating Alabama. And then after that happened, but an hour before that game started, this guy yanked his rotational Friday starter and went with the reliever. Relievers aren't meant to go 6 or 7 innings in a ball game. They're meant to go 1, 2, tops 3. Damn, dude. That's a real bad look, guy. That's a real bad look. But Alabama did the only thing that they could do. Bring the band hammer down, kick this dude to the curb, get him out of there, because that can't happen. I am big on sports gambling. I'm a big fan. I do it. I host a show about it. I got no issue with it. But this can't happen. And it has to be known that A, you will be caught, and B, you will be terminated. And the next step, I'm curious to see if they ever go. Could Alabama sue this guy for intentionally attempting to cost them a game and causing harm? Maybe. Find out. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Greenville Liberty, Julie Carlson, joins us on the show. We talk a little Liberty football, and you guys live on the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate or on YouTube will get to see the kit for the very first time. We do that next on the Rob Brown Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fan Upstate.
All right, quick thing before you go out there. Some problem we're having is they're not very loud usually, and you're turning your head that way.
Okay.
So when you turn your head that way, I'm picking you up on 3 mics.
I will, A, lower my volume. I will be cognizant of that. B, I will tell them to speak up.
Okay. All right.
Those of you that are on the stream that are joining us for the kit reveal, first off, welcome. We're glad to have you. Hope you're entertained. Stick around. We do this 3 hours every weekday. Second, I got to run downstairs and grab Coach. So if you guys will stay right here, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and you guys will get your first look at the kit. We're back after this. Don't go anywhere.
My bad. I thought you already muted it. I would.
The Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown, the great one Lonzo on the other side of the metaphorical glass, and we are now very pleased and honored to be joined by not one but two individuals who are just faces of football here in the Upstate. We have not only friend of the show, friend off and on the air, the CBO of the Greenville Triumph and Greenville Liberty, Mr. Doug Irwin is in the building, but we are also joined by the head coach of the Liberty, Coach Julie Carlson is here as well. How we doing, ladies and gentlemen?
Doing awesome.
Love to hear it.
Having us.
Yeah, man. Of course. And of course, we're here for a couple of reasons. First off is match day numero uno for the Liberty, just a handful of days away. And B, the new kits are in. And we're going to show them to you in just a couple of minutes. So if you're joining us on the stream here for that, stay tuned. But I will say this. They're sick.
We think they turned out pretty well.
They're
We're
so
excited,
good.
for sure.
Very excited.
They're so Coach, let me ask you this before we get into soccer. I'm a believer in look good, feel good, play good, win good. I think like a well put together power suit can change your attitude and that can change your performance. As an athlete and as a coach, do you subscribe to that theory?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Looking
Yeah.
good's half the battle, man.
Of course it is. Yep. And when we did some photography yesterday with the girls getting to see it, they were super pumped.
They get their diva on a little bit.
They got their diva on.
I love it.
For sure.
I love it. Cannot wait. Game number 1, the 12th, going to be at home, Furman Paladin Stadium, where the Triumph are playing. And Doug, let me start with this because we're a couple of games deep in the Triumph season. We get the girls started off in the USLW League here in just a little while. How's it been? I mean, I know it was a challenge this offseason, not just to have to figure it out. And I think Furman did a wonderful job. You guys did a wonderful job to put this partnership together. But at the same time, you guys have a whole new match day experience that as an administrative team, you guys have to come up with what does match day look like? Where are cars going to park? Where is this in the merch? And where is that? How's that been for you guys so far? A few games deep into the Liberty and getting ready, or into the Triumph and getting ready for the Liberty.
You know, it's been quite the race the past couple months, and I feel like it's a great time for it. But I feel like we're starting to kind of settle in to what all those new processes are. Liberty already have some familiarity with being out at Furman, training there last year, so that gives them a leg up. But as far as a match day experience, it's gone really well. There's been a ton of work behind the scenes. Furman's administration and our team working on getting things ready, and it took a couple matches to, I think, get to a point where we know kind of what we're doing on a game day and stuff. But the fan feedback has been awesome. We've been really pleased to know that fans are having a good time out at Furman and are enjoying a lot of the amenities that maybe we didn't have at Legacy. So we're excited, and now we get a real test this weekend with a back-to-back with the Liberty home opener on Friday night and then a Triumph match on Saturday night.
Coach, he mentioned you guys have trained there in the past, but it is a new pitch. It is a new size. It's a new feel. How quickly have the girls taken to that? Some of them from last year's team having that experience, and how comfortable are we looking forward to Friday night?
I think we're looking really comfortable. I mean, the group that we have here currently has come out of the blocks pretty fast. I've actually had to get them to slow down the game a little bit. Obviously moving from grass to turf is always a little bit of adjustment, but the facilities there have been so well kept that it makes it for an easy transition because the turf does roll fast. And this particular field at Paladin will be a little bit larger. And so we'll be making some adaptations, adjustments to that and the way that we play from just a style and a shape adjustment. But no, I think they're all very much looking forward to it. I think just being, at home there for the summer and now really being there at home and being able to play the matches there and everything being in a kind of consolidated in one place makes things very efficient.
It's really interesting. I'm a big Ted Lasso fan. It has grown on me so much. One of my favorite scenes is when they go to Wembley to play their first big time match, and Ted's like, "Well, it's a soccer pitch, boys. They're all the same size." No, they're not. Well, it's the same. No, it's all different. So for you guys to have to adapt game to game, season to season, for you as a manager and for the girls, how does it change when you're going to have to stretch the shape a little bit more than you're used to, or attacks are going to be a couple of yards longer? Does that change the way that you attack, how you're setting the field up?
Yeah, it definitely can. I think it can make us play a little bit either more narrow or give us more, or we decide to play a little bit wider to stretch an opponent. But I think we won't change too many things. I think it's just going to be an adjustment from an additional 2 yards one side on each side, and having some of that extra yardage can be very useful. We can have a little bit more time on the ball than trying to play a very more fast-paced game that we've played in the past. And so, and there's different areas of the field where you have to adjust maybe a set piece or a corner kick because of the way it's designed. And those are just things you work around. That's just part of, it's like the weather, you don't know what the weather's going to do. And so you have to learn how to adapt. But I think it'll be a smooth transition for us.
Head coach of the Greenville Liberty, Julie Carlson's in the building. So is the CBO of the Triumph and the Liberty, Doug Irwin. And Doug, obviously, we've talked about Paladin Stadium. As far as these two teams, these two brands playing games, seasons are overlaid this year, got games going back and forth. What has been the response this year? Because I know when you ask fans, new stadium, new situation, it's going to be a different tailgating experience. It's going to be a different merch experience. How has the response from the soccer community here in Greenville been for you guys so far this year?
I think it's been great. And I think what we're seeing specifically with the Liberty is kind of what we saw a few years ago with Triumph is, you have a first year on the field that's very successful. Both teams made a playoff run in year one. And for a lot of people, that validation, if it didn't get them out to a match, if they didn't come out year one, they get that validation of how we play on the field, how we are in the community. They see the games are well attended. They want to come out year two. So I think we're going to see a bump in interest for the Liberty year two, similar to what we saw on the men's side, which is great. And I think as we continue on into this season, as you see Furman continue to build more people to come out, I think our crowd numbers increased each. Well, we did have a Wednesday match thrown in there, but our biggest crowd of the season was the Triumph match we just had. So I think you're going to see those crowds build, and we're not that far away from school letting out, so that'll help crowds too. So I think for both the men and the women, we know it's a challenge for our fans. It's a lot of soccer across May and June for two teams, but so we know we might not get everybody to every match, but the support has been great for both teams, and we think it's going to be an awesome next couple of months.
Let me throw this question at both of you guys and get both of your answers from the perspective of manager player, from the perspective of front office administration. I've been making the argument for a while. When people start talking about soccer communities, we hear Portland and we hear Austin and we hear New York with the going back to the Cosmos days. I've made the argument for a while. Carolina's both of them really very quickly becoming a soccer community. Charlotte FC sprang up in the MLS and expansion team, had success right out of the gate. Clemson wins the men's national championship a couple of seasons ago. Chelsea and Wrexham, two of the most recognizable names. Wrexham because of the Welcome to Wrexham show and the celebrity status. Chelsea just being a longtime EPL team, picked the Carolinas to play an FC Cup exhibition here. It feels to me, especially with the success of the Independence, the Liberty, the Triumph, Charleston Battery, there's pro teams springing up across the state that are all well attended. How have you guys felt the impact of the Carolinas? It feels like to me really embracing soccer across the entire two-state region.
Well, I think, to comment on that, I think the youth side of the upstate has significantly grown. And, plus you have, our Hispanic population has grown and the interest level has grown because it's a sport so many people can play and so many people can, invest in. And I think the nature of the community in the upstate is grown up with soccer. They've grown up with soccer on TV, not like when I was growing up, you could barely find it. Now you can find it on every channel, every streaming, Peacock, and there's so much more availability to watch the game, to where when you move into a state, people are like, well, which college do you follow? Who's your team? Now it's which pro team do you follow? And so I think we have a youth platform and we have an international platform here in the upstate that really embrace our sport. And, we've seen the women's side obviously growing at a phenomenal rate in the last 5 years. And I think that's where we're starting to see the growth and the, resonate here, where our sport can really take off. And there's the love of the game and the passion behind the game. And I just think the fan base is just continuing to grow and embrace us.
Yeah, and I think, going back to when we started the men's side, Atlanta United was such a driver for that, seeing the success they had from day one. gave us a lot of confidence. And then on the women's side too, I mean, you look at the Courage and what they've done historically, you know, in the NWSL being one of the most popular women's teams. So you add on what Julie talked about at the collegiate level, at the youth level, and the pro success we're seeing now. And, you know, certainly Atlanta and Charlotte being right between the two. And now that Charlotte's got an MLS team, seeing that, I think the future is bright. And as you mentioned, we're all Wrexham fans now to some extent, it seems. And, you know, the Leeds documentary, all the All or Nothing documentaries, you know, for people that can't get enough of it, they just get fed with more and they start talking about it to people near them, and to see it build has just been awesome.
We, Doug, you're an F1 guy. We've talked about it a little bit. I thought Netflix, when they dropped the F1 season documentary down, all of the sudden I have friends who I had never heard talk racing before that are waking up at 4 a.m. on Wednesday mornings to watch F1 races in Melbourne, Australia and stuff like that. To me, like, providing content and providing quality stuff is great. And that includes not just access, which I told Doug before we came on the air. I've never worked with a professional team, and this includes a lot of regions that do as much as the Triumph and the Liberty do to be forward-facing with the community and constantly interacting and adapting based on what is being told. But I think it's about providing that opportunity and, oh yeah, pretty good soccer, because people like to back a winner. It does make it more fun when your team's beating everybody. Coach, in your time here going into season number 2, have you felt that with the success you guys had last year, with the forward-facing mindset that the organization is taking, have you felt a sense of increased interest both in your team and in women's soccer here in the upstate? And do you think you would credit some of it to that?
Oh, absolutely. I would credit it to that. I think, you know, our front office staff just has done such a fabulous job of marketing the Liberty. I think we really did a great job last year setting a stage on what this was supposed to look like in the W League as a role model program, and trying to get, you know, some of the best players on a new platform. And it's evolved. You know, now we've gone from 44 teams to 65 teams this summer, and people have utilized kind of what we've done as a kind of piggybacking off of what we've done as a model program, bringing in youth, preparing for college players to have to exit early to report back, and then having a youth academy or youth elite players prepared to come in and train in this environment as part of the development of the league. And so I embrace the fact that the female athlete here, soccer player in this upstate, is now, you know, you hear the 12 and 13-year-olds that are aspiring to want to play for the Liberty. And these are the kids that come with their faces painted, that are buying jerseys, that are having our players sign autographs with. They want to connect with those women. And we want these women to be role models in this community and set that stage, because this is the closest women's professional team that you have in the upstate outside of, you know, Power 5 college sports. And so we want to make sure that we do a stage that is healthy and has talent, is an enjoyable game for people to watch, and that our young players here can aspire to.
Head coach of the Greenville Liberty, Julie Carlson, the CBO of the Triumph and the Liberty, Doug Irwin, here as well. Coach, let's talk a little bit about your team, because it's playtime. Friday, we're getting it underway. The first thing I want to talk about is the W League itself, because it is a pro league, but it's interesting and it's set up in that it's semi-pro league. Sorry, yes. Let me be very careful.
Don't get us in trouble.
Pre-professional.
Sorry, NCAA. That's on me. Pre-professional league, which means that the majority of the girls that are on your team, they are seniors in high school. They are college players that are getting ready. This is an opportunity then for really to really take this opportunity and tune it to use to grow in their career. But I know that sometimes presents some unique challenges. Playoffs last year had girls that were starting to get recalled by their programs. How do you prepare knowing that there is roster fluidity and that these girls are really in a very important developmental stage of their career versus also we want to go win?
Absolutely. It's a sometimes a bait and switch, but it's a little, it's creating depth, and it's creating a depth chart where you know that you have a solid number of kids that will be with you, both players that have exhausted eligibility, both quality players that will be here through the entire duration of the season, that you can create a core backbone. And then from there, you might be able to sprinkle in some quality players that can create a different kind of recipe. And I think that creates a challenge, not just for me to make decisions with, but for our staff. But I also think it makes it challenging at training and creating that developmental atmosphere. It's like a pool of players where players will come in and out, and you have to readapt, and you're constantly adapting to different personalities of those players. And I think that has helped really nurture and create players to aspire when they see the talent that we have, and it interchanges every year. So we don't have everybody the same back. We'll have some players returning. We won't have everybody returning, and that's always the challenge of the league. And so we have players are being put on platforms now and signing pro contracts, whether it's in Europe or in the States, and that's evolving. And so when that happens, you have to make sure that the foundation is strong and the backbone is strong, and then you're bringing in these talented players to really create an entertaining environment that will challenge each of them. And I think one of the best characteristics of these players is that they rise to that challenge. They embrace it. And they really try to get stretched out of their comfort zone a little bit to execute it.
Talk to me a little bit about what this team is going to look like, because last year, just a lot of goals. Don't hate that as a soccer guy. A lot of goals. Talk to me a little bit about roster development, about some of the girls that are coming back that are going to be leaned on a little bit. Maybe a couple of the new girls that you expect are going to make an impact out of the gate for the Liberty.
Yeah, your veteran players that we'll be leaning on a lot of is, Haley Schubert, Julie Mackin, Christian Brathwaite, Carly Thatcher.
By the way, if Carly teaches me how to take PKs and set spots, I might make the Triumph next year. She's a beast.
She's a talented little player for sure, and she really built some confidence before she went back to Auburn. And then you're going to see players like Emmy Wanamaker, Bailey Manfredi, really come in at different times and really provide us some quality depth. Alana Bly now's had a year at Kennesaw State under her belt. She was playing as a number 2 behind a veteran keeper who's now in Iceland. So she'll be coming in looking at that number 1 spot. We had dabbled a little bit late in the season where we were able to pick up Autumn Kelly after CISA ECNL events. And, you're going to see a lot more of her now. She prepares to go to South Carolina. And so she'll be someone that we'll rely on for set pieces and goals. And then Martha Bishop, who came in later last year as well. And she's going to had a season or spring with Samford, graduated early and went in early. And now she's back. So we'll have her in the center back role with Haley Schubert. And so, another veteran, Sarah Jacobs. She'll get mad at me for saying this on radio, but she's our old lady in the group, but she brings obviously a lot of veteran experience. And then some new faces I think we're going to rely on a lot. Marcela Helena, she's from Brazil. She's shown us the first session she was here, how much talent she has. She will also be part of taking set pieces. And then Lauren Harks will give us some depth. We lost Caitlin Riley to nursing school, and so we're bringing in Lauren Harks playing that holding mid role.
Why do I know that last name? And more importantly, is John going to get a little finicky in the bench in the spectator area this time?
I don't know. He's not allowed in my technical area. So no offense, Harksy, but no, he's not allowed in my technical area.
If you see one person in the opposing stands that we don't sell, that'll probably be
the guy.
Yeah. We'll put him up there.
Harksy might wear out some pavement pacing back and forth.
Yeah, I try to work the officials the way I want to talk to him the way I'd like to talk to him, I guess. But it would definitely create for some entertainment. But yeah, so his daughter's coming into play, and she'll be a huge asset. And so we have some new faces from small schools, and we have some smaller school players that are returning back that have grown a lot. And so, Alexa Fight from North Greenville. And so I think you're going to see some new faces. I think you're going to see some new names. I still think you're going to see goals. But I also know that looking at our division, because I think of what we were able to put together last year. Everybody's kind of stepped up their game a little bit. And, when they step on the field with Greenville, they know they're getting a game. And so it'll be more difficult this season.
Real quick, couple of comments from a stream, and then we're going to get these jerseys out there. Josh White said, noted soccer dad, John Harks. Can't wait to see that. Keegan asked if you would elaborate a little bit about what the keeper rotation is going to look like. Said super excited that Caitlin got signed. What's the keeper spot going to look like?
Alana Bly obviously is coming back. We've picked up Grace Workman, who's also a local goalkeeper who plays at Longwood. And then we've signed Georgia Katsunori. She's from Cyprus, plays at the University of Evansville. She'll be the oldest, most mature veteran goalkeeper we have. One of her strengths is her ability to manage games in the back and her communication and distribution. So she will fill in a lot for Caitlin, and I think there'll be a good competition. I think that as long as all three are healthy, they're going to be a little bit of a rotation. I can't answer who's the number one at the moment, but I think that they're going to all compete for it. And then, we'll get Emma Curlin in, who's committed to Florida State as soon as she completes with CISA championships, and she's kind of on call as we need her. But she's got her obligation with the CISA ECNL championships in San Diego. So those are our 4 goalkeepers, and Alana gets back on Tuesday from school. So we'll see how those 3 compete with each other to fight for that starting spot. And I think ideally we'd like to split halves with the 2 that are on the bench with us, but we'll see how that plays out.
Competition makes everything better, baby.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to go ahead and say it is time to open the bag, the 2023 Liberty kits or jerseys for those of you that were working on bringing along here. Jerseys if you won. Coach, would you like to do the honors here and give us the first look?
Surprise mystery.
I know. We're going to the bag, ladies. I saw it.
Are you ready?
Oh, I've been ready, Coach.
Ready?
Fire away.
Go. There it is.
Bringing it out. Look at it, ladies and gentlemen. The 2020. Throw it up, Dougie Fresh. Show the people. Give the people what they want. Let me move that microphone out of the way. There's your kit for this year. Absolutely dope look, dude. So, what do you think?
Flowers.
That's a sick shirt.
Oh, I love
right?
it. Yeah.
That's a sick shirt. Absolutely love it. That is a fantastic look. Doug, Coach did a good job putting these together for you, buddy.
I did.
Not bad.
This was my favorite one last year, so we waited a year.
Patience was worth it. It is a virtue, and it was worth it with the flower design in the background. Doug, when, because I've already got people in the stream saying they're waiting, when can folks start picking these up, big fella?
They should be getting put out on hangers first thing this afternoon in the team store downtown. We're super excited about this. As Julie mentioned, we had talked about the flower pattern last year and kind of wanted to wait and save it because we knew it would be such a great look. So this year we got the flower pattern. We got some yellow accents. We were kind of more light blue last year, but we got some yellow this year. Kind of a cool touch on the back. We got the Liberty team name in the font of the Liberty Theater, which is a historic venue in downtown Greenville.
Can I just say, I mean to interrupt.
Go ahead, please.
You guys have done an incredible job with every kit you've put out for both sides so far. But it's like everyone has some nod to the community that is so good. The Lunar kit is my favorite kit, maybe any team all time. I'm a big space dork, so that makes sense. The flowers in the background with the Liberty Theater font is spectacular. The alternates last year for the Triumph with the tag of the Reedy River Riot section, the GPS coordinates was dope. You guys have done such an incredible job. No one should be shocked by how good these turned out. No one should be.
We have fun with it. It's a fun process. Julie and I collaborate on this a lot. We collaborate in the office. There are lots of great ideas thrown around. It's just how do you pull them together cohesively to make a good kit? And I think we've done pretty well so far.
There you have it. Coach Julie Carlson, head coach of the Greenville Liberty. Doug Irwin is the CBO for the Triumph and the Liberty. Thank you guys for coming by. Thanks for doing this with us, man. It's a great kit. And Friday night, Coach, I will be back on the call and cannot wait.
Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. So Friday night, everybody.
Friday night at Paladin Stadium, greenvilleliberty.com. Grab your tickets. I will be there, but Doug's making me work. It's not making me work. I absolutely am doing it.
Somebody's got to call all those goals, right?
Might as well be me.
Yeah.
Somebody bring me some lozenges. Back after this, those of you that joined us for the kit reveal, thanks for coming by. You might want to stick around. We got like 30 more minutes of excellence coming your way. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
See y'all Friday night, Paladin Stadium, as the Liberty get their season underway against FCC, and then we run it back on Saturday when Richmond visits the Greenville Triumph. We are back after this on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Chris said, I'm walking to the shop today.
He works a block away.
Yeah.
He'll be
Hence
down
the
there
walk.
soon. Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to walk down those stairs, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Look at the kit. It is dope, dude. The more I look at it, the more I love it. The flower pattern in the background is just a phenomenal look.
Listen on your phone, download the Odyssey app, and search the Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound. If you need
Trey, I'm sorry I did not get a chance to ask them before they bounced, but I will text Doug and see if he can fire me back an answer and let us know. Thanks again to Doug Irwin and head coach Julie Carlson for coming by and spending a few minutes with us. The answer for the none of you who asked is, you're damn right I immediately put the jersey on. Are you kidding me? Look at this thing. This is a great uniform. This is a great shirt. So I made the change. Got the jessamine flowers on. We are good to go. It's a great look. And as Dougie Fresh said, they should be hanging in the Triumph store like today to get picked up if you want one. Friday night, the Liberty at home taking on the Football Club of the Carolinas. That's going to be at Paladin Stadium. Then we turn around and we run it back on Saturday when the Triumph will take on Richmond. Can't wait. Love a little football in the upstate, baby. Can't do better than a little soccer in the upstate. And to everybody that joined us on the stream for the kit reveal, glad to have you. Thanks for coming by, and do it more often because, Alonzo, if I asked you for one word to describe this show, what would it be?
Chaos.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to say awesome, but you got to start somewhere. Controlled chaos, I think, is.
You put up walls and then you can bounce all over the place.
What do you do to those walls, Alonzo?
Break them down if you can.
Break the walls down. All right. Let's get some stuff in here as we stream towards the end of the show. A horse won the Kentucky Derby, which is great that a horse won it, because if anything else won it, it'd have been
and one
a
horse
weird day.
got ruled out because of a bruised hoof.
Big bruised hoof, which is better than the other 6 that died. So there's that.
Wait, 6 died during
6
during the race, or was
in
this
the lead up to the race, including the day of. 2 more had to get put down. So maybe let's stop. Maybe let's just quit. There's enough glue in the world. We don't need more. Maybe let's stop. All right? Let's pick something. I know what we should do.
Wait. Did you say there's enough glue in the world?
Yeah.
They don't really make glue out of horses.
I don't know. That's a joke.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if they
At least
do or not.
I don't think they do.
Chloe's Dream was the first horse.
A horse is a horse is a horse, of course.
A horse is a horse, except, of course, unless the horse is euthanized at the racetrack. Chloe's Dream was the first horse euthanized on Saturday following a dirt track race due to a right front knee injury. The Louisville Courier Journal, I'm struggling today, reported that hours later, Freezing Point was euthanized after an ankle injury. The death comes. Oh, I'm sorry, Lonzo. I said it was 6 horses. It was 7. 7 horses had to be offed due to injury for one race. Maybe let's not. Maybe just let's not. Right? Maybe just let's. Could you imagine any other sport, though? Any other sport in the world where 7 athletes died the week of the event, and then everybody was like, oh, how terrible. Mint julep, please. Any other? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kansas Motor Speedway. Here, the home of the NASCAR 400. Sad news is 7 of our athletes died this week. Anyway, let's send it down to Darius Rucker for the national anthem. Starting up here, it is 1 o'clock. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Arrowhead Stadium, where the Chiefs and the Bills are set to get it on in what could be an AFC Championship game preview. Of course, brief pause here to remind you that 7 Buffalo Bills died this week. Anyway, Down to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen for the coin flip. 7. Why
See, I hadn't heard
are we
this.
doing
I
this?
wasn't paying attention to the horse race because it's a horse race.
You
and,
know
yeah.
who else doesn't pay attention to any horse race but the Derby? Everyone else. All horse racing is for obnoxious rich people with too much money on their hands to enjoy themselves for 2 minutes. And then the rest of America goes back to not giving a hoot at all. Quick, those of you that are arguing that the Derby is great, name me 2 horses that didn't die.
Like the one that won didn't die.
Mage.
Okay. Oh, that's a good name.
It's a good name.
And then the one who came in second didn't die.
It's a good name.
Did they still have a? So I don't know how.
As far as I know, none of the horses that finished the race have died. ... Yet. 7. And listen, I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, trying to make the argument that the life of a horse is as valuable as the life of a human athlete. All right? I'm not trying to make that stretch. I had a guy that I did radio with about 12, I don't know how long ago it was. Do you remember the story of 8 Bells?
It sounds familiar.
8 Bells was a horse that injured itself on the track the week of the Derby, and they literally had to bring out a big white sheet, and they put it down on the track, just out in front of everybody. They covered it in a sheet, and then they euthanized it on the track, right? And I was working with a guy at the time who loved to pretend that he loved the Derby, right? He loved the Derby. A big Derby guy, loves the Derby. And that happened, and he comes in the next day, and he goes, this is just as sad as the day that Dale Earnhardt died. Oh, shut up! No, it's not.
You're about to get some activist groups coming after you.
The life of a horse is not as important as the life of a person. Scratch that. The life of a horse is not as important as the life of a good person. There's a couple of people I would take a horse over them. All right? But here's the point. If you can think of any other sport where this would happen, and then the show would not only go on Saturday, but the show would go on and everybody would just be totally cool. Not even reference it.
Hey, Rob, you haven't mentioned what everyone was wearing Saturday. That's what, I mean, isn't that what you tune in for?
Dude, listen. I didn't watch it. Okay? I didn't watch it. I don't ever watch it. Do you know why I don't watch it? Because I don't care. And I'm tired of people pretending like they do. If you want to go to a Derby party, that's fine. Do you know what other types of parties you can go to? Any of them. Let's stop propping up the Kentucky Derby like it's some great American tradition that we all love, because we don't. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2024 World Cup. We're glad to have you along today as the United States of America men's national team gets set to take on the Spanish national team. Both coaches left scrambling for lineups as 7 soccer players were found dead in their hotel last night. Anyway, the Americans are expected to run a 4-4-2. Like, what are we doing here, man? Just no. All right? Just no. I got time to get something else in here because I'm in a great mood. Great mood.
Well, you look good anyway.
I do look great. Look at this jersey. It's so good, right? It's not very often that I see a jersey and I'm like, that's dope. The last one that made me feel like this was a couple of years ago. You can Google it if you'd like, Lonzo. But the Minnesota Timberwolves put out a Prince tribute jersey that they wore.
I seem to recall seeing that.
It was nasty. I loved it. This is the first jersey in a minute that I looked at and was like, that's sick. That is sick.
Does it have that New Jersey feel to it?
Oh, it does.
Not like from New Jersey, but a New Jersey. Yeah.
No, it doesn't quite feel like that, but I get what you're saying. All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, The Florida Panthers are still doing the damn thing. Y'all, the Toronto Maple Leafs got a Series 1 win. And they broke the curse, question mark, I guess. Because Toronto had not been out of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs since Stanley was holding it. It's been like that long, all right? So they got out of the first round, and the last scene you saw in the final game of their first round series was a bunch of Toronto fans chanting, "We want Florida. We want Florida." They got Florida, ladies and gentlemen, and they are now down 0-3 to the Florida Panthers, which is what I like to call them now. Why? Because what is Florida man known for? Screwing everything up by being ridiculous and unexpected. Just Google Florida man and read like 10 articles. You will have comedy provided to you for hours upon hours of your own entertainment. The hockey team is the Florida Panthers because that's what they're doing. They were unexpected. Nobody saw this coming, and all they're doing is screwing up everything, and I am in love with it. Florida limited ticket sales for their series against Toronto to fans with U.S. credit cards, which was supposed to be a strategy to keep the Maple Leafs from overwhelming the Florida Panthers in games 3 and 4 down in South Florida.
It's a pretty smart strategy.
Super smart strategy.
Yeah, I think so.
Super smart strategy. Super smart strategy. Here's the good news. The Florida Panthers are 60 minutes of hockey away from preventing Toronto fans from being able to buy tickets to Game 5, too. Why? Because if they can win the next 6 minutes of hockey, there won't be a Game 5 back in Toronto. This thing could be swept out. Sam Reinhart scored after the Panthers found themselves down 1-0. They came level. They found themselves down 2-1. They got level. They found themselves down 3-2. They scored in the third, took it to OT, and Reinhart buried one 3-0-2 into overtime. The same Panthers that stunned the greatest regular season NHL team of all time in the 2023 Boston Bruins is now 60 minutes away from doing it to the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. Sergei Bobrovsky, the goalkeeper for Florida, is a monster. 22 shots stopped for the Panthers. In the clutch, Toronto assaulted the net, and it did not matter. Reinhart buries the game winner, and the Cats need to win one more at home. And this series is a sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, give it to me. Carolina, on the other hand, things did not go so well last night for the Canes. They went up a pair on the Jersey Devils. Then they gave one back last night, but it wasn't that they gave one back last night to draw this to a 2-1 lead in favor of the team from Raleigh, North Carolina. It is the fact that they got smoked last night. 8-4, your final. It was a beatdown in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but it was back in Jersey. They got the home ice back, and Carolina had a ton of injuries that they are dealing with right now. Failed in their attempt to take its first 3-0 lead in a series since round 2 in 2019. They are looking to get it done in the next one. We will keep our eyes on the Stanley Cup as we move forward. But now we turn our eyes towards, ladies and gentlemen, the final segment of the show, which comes up next. My name is Rob Brown. The great Lonzo's at the board. And ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to The Rob Brown Show. You are listening to the Fan Upstate.
I thought I saw a peck move. It had to be accidental. There's no way you could do it on purpose.
Saw 2 pecks move.
action on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. 3-2 the win over the Orioles in comeback fashion on Sunday. It took 12 innings. Michael Harris hit a game-winning double in the bottom of the 10th. That came after Atlanta scored the tying run on a wild pitch. Atlanta took 2 of 3 from Baltimore, which lost consecutive games for the first time since early April. In Phoenix, the Nationals beat the Diamondbacks 9-8. Joey Meneses hit a 3-run homer in the ninth. He had 4 RBI as Washington rallied from a 4-run deficit. The victory snapped a 2-game losing skid for the Nats. NASCAR Sunday in Kansas, Denny Hamlin took the checkered flag. Kyle Larson ran second. William Byron third. Fan Upstate is your home for Furman Paladin sports all year long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
I'm Jamie Long with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Jordan Love era is underway in Green Bay, and the biggest question mark is how he'll fill the shoes of Aaron Rodgers. Head coach Matt LaFleur is confident in the young quarterback, saying, quote, just watching him last year, I think Jordan's made some huge strides. LaFleur giving credit for Love's development. Quarterback coach Tom Clements saying, quote, he knows how to drill them, and he's very, very consistent. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. Meantime, in Chicago, the Bears are preparing to open off-season workouts with a revamped offense. And offensive coordinator Luke Getsy says his quarterback, Justin Fields, is showing that he's light years ahead of where he was last year at this time. Fields, in just his second campaign, broke multiple quarterback records in rushing on his way to a team-leading 1,143 yards and 8 touchdowns. And after missing nearly half of the 2020
All right, so I was curious if glue is actually made from horses, and according to the internet, so it's got to be true. Glue has been produced from animals for thousands of years, not just from horses, but from pigs and cattle as well. Over the second half of the 20th century, synthetic glues have become advanced, being produced cheaply, uniform in quality, and with longer shelf lives. Okay, that's so they're basically saying they don't make glue out of horses anymore or animals, right? So Elmer's glue is made out of a type of thermoplastic, water, ethanol, and acetate.
Okay.
They still might use the meat though, Trey. I mean, that's possible. I know when I was a kid, if something tasted tough, they said it tasted like horse meat. And I always ask, did you ever eat a horse before?
A horse is a horse, except, of course, unless the horse is on your plate.
I'm sure when you're hungry, you'll eat anything, but you know.
Correct.
Except people. I mean, probably not doing that. I think I'll if I have to eat mice, that's okay. Not okay, but I'll do it.
Squirrel, big squirrel guy.
I've eaten squirrel before, so squirrel and dumplings. One of my stepfathers was big at shooting squirrels, and mom's from Kentucky, so they know how to prepare those there for some reason. If I had to eat squirrels, I'd feed pretty well for a while around my house because there's some fat ones. No idea how to get up the trees sometimes. Played through a little more Redfall, and one of the main guys asked why there are no cats. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, there are no dogs either. It would make sense though that vampires would go after, animals first, I suppose.
Yeah, easy prey.
Still blood. Were they? Okay. Wonder what part of the horse is the best meat.
I'm gonna go leg, right?
I guess.
Super
No,
leg.
I don't. Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot of
What
muscle.
would horse ribs look like? Be like Fred Flintstone.
Probably. All right, time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending, and he will tell us why. The first thing that's trending is Andrew Luck.
Yeah, this one's fun. So Jim Irsay, noted good decision maker in the National Football League, has said that there are rumors floating around that the Washington Commanders, also run by noted good decision maker Dan Snyder, may have reached out to Andrew Luck to try to talk him out of retirement back to the league. But Irsay, who is blind squirrel finding a nut, correct in this case, pointed out that Andrew Luck's contract is still owned by the Indianapolis Colts. And if they were to reach out to him sans permission from the Colts, it would be in direct violation of the NFL's tampering rules, which I am not a lawyer, nor did I stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, but I believe that's actually correct, which means that Dan Snyder is like, what if I screwed the club over one more time on my way out the door?
Yeah.
That could be a fine and a couple of draft picks.
Yeah, that's not a good move. And Andrew Luck's done playing. Let's leave him alone.
Yeah.
All right, the next thing that's trending is Boo Booey.
Boo Booey.
Yes.
Boo Booey.
Boo Booey.
I got nothing.
I just wanted to say Boo Booey because he's
That's fair.
trending. He's a basketball player from Northwestern who decided to take his name off the NBA draft list.
Oh, okay.
But it's Boo Booey.
Boo Booey.
Boo Booey.
Boo Booey.
Yeah, that's Bada Booey. Boo Booey. I don't know why it's trending. I'm guessing he's trending just because of his name.
Hey, Boo Booey, Boo Booing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to be trending because of his name. All right, the next thing is trending is The Miz.
The Miz is awesome. No idea why he's trending though.
There's the list of participants in the World Heavyweight Championship for the new World Heavyweight Championship in the WWE, and The Miz has the worst percentage to win the thing. He is trending as a result of that.
Listen, there's two it goes. It either goes on Seth,
Which is trending to be, I think it's like 92% people think he's going to win.
it
And
either
then
goes on
Cody's
Seth or
at
it goes
50.
on Cody.
Cody's
Exactly.
at 50. That's how much people believe that he's going to win, that Seth's going to win that belt.
Yep. It either goes on Seth or it goes on Cody, and I don't think there's another direction they can go with it. I don't see a swerve
Shinsuke's
here.
in there. I mean, you got
Don't
to
get me wrong. I would love a return of Bad Guy Nakamura. I love Shinsuke Nakamura. The guy can go, but it's either going on the most over guy on Raw, Seth Rollins, or it's going on Cody.
All right, but the problem is it's a couple of three-way matches, I believe.
Yep.
And-
It's 2 3-way matches on both shows.
Yeah.
The winner of both of those matches will then go on to whatever the next
Night of Champions.
Night of Champions, where they will fight each other, and then that person will be crowned. But here's the interesting thing. That belt was pledged as a Monday Night Raw belt, and there's 4 guys or 3 guys from SmackDown that can.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense.
So does it
but
come with a free ticket to go to Raw?
I believe it would have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again to Doug Irwin, CBO of the Triumph and the Liberty. Thanks again to Julie Carlson, head coach of the Liberty. Their first home game Friday night. I will be live on the play-by-play call for that. Then on Saturday, the Triumph are at home. Thank you guys for listening, for watching, for hanging out. You're all spectacular human beings. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. Have a lovely rest of your Monday. We're back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. There you go, folks. Thank you all that hung out with us. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate it greatly. We'll be back tomorrow. I will be posting some clips from that video with the jersey reveal, the kit reveal earlier, later on today. So keep an eye out for those. Have a lovely Monday. Goodbye.